GM, we do a little fam, and welcome to season 3 of the pod. Our season 3 mint is now live, and we need your support more than ever to keep the IRL podcast vibes going. Each $5 base NFT allows you to burn one for an art piece based off the conversations we've had with our guests. 12 base NFTs will be needed to collect a full set of the art coins. There's also 15 premium NFTs priced at 1 ETH each. Each premium NFT owner is invited to one of our We Do a Little dinners. The next dinner will be during Art Basel Miami in December 2023, and other dinners will be during NFT LA and NFT NYC in early 2024. If you'll be at any of those events and would like to get dinner with 25 to 30 of the best people in the space, definitely check out these premium NFTs. You'll also receive all 12 art claims via airdrop and a special invite into a Telegram chat for all premium holders. And without further ado, let's jump into season 3. At our first episode of the new season, we are joined by the incredible and otherworldly Jen Stark. Jen is a multimedia artist based out of LA, known for creating trippy optical art using psychedelic colors and patterns and drips that mimic nature. We dive into her origin story as an artist, the transition from amateur to professional artist, finding her style, helping create a shroom room for Demi Lovato, and so much more. As always, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. NFTs and guests may own NFTs discussed.
This is Andy.
Yeah,
Hobbies.
GM, we are live with another episode of We Do a Little, this time with our dear friend and legendary artist, Jen Stark. We are live actually from her studio. For the people watching at home, you can see behind us some of her art. So I just want to thank Jen for welcoming us into the studio today and excited to dive in. But Jen, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, GM, everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm excited. And it's so cool that we can actually do it in my studio because you guys are in LA.
This is the first guest studio appearance we've had.
Yeah, this is the first time we've gone to somewhere where the guest is, right?
Yeah, and have been able to like see their art and their work and get behind the scenes. So this is a
this great snake
podcast.
Carpet, which I just noticed it when I sat down. I'm a big fan. I really like it.
That's Lorian Stern. She's a badass artist.
But yeah, so I think we should go back to the beginning here because, I mean, I've had this conversation with you a couple different times, but they might have been recorded on spaces that were deleted or forgotten about. So I might ask you some questions that I know a little bit of the answer to, but now that we are in a more formal, vibey scenario, I'm still going to ask them. So just very simply, like, how did you get started as an artist? When did you know that I have to create things and that's my way out?
I've always made art since I was, I would say, like 2 or 3 years old. My grandpa was a hobby artist. He was a photographer and a reporter for the Miami Herald. So he was really instrumental in, you know, bringing the art out of me and the inspiration. So yeah, I would say actually painting with him, just making watercolor paintings. One time we were both painting a still life of my Cabbage Patch Kid. And he was like, wow, yours is even better than mine. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, I could be an artist. That was, you know, just like early on, just having that kind of, my parents were awesome. They both really helped with my creativity and like put me in magnet schools, you know, for art. So from a young age, it's just always what I wanted to do. And I didn't actually think it would be possible, but I kept going at it and it happened.
So early on, you just knew, your dad said, hey, you know, you're better than me already.
My grandpa, yeah.
Your grandpa.
He was probably being nice. I was
and
like
those
6.
words of encouragement are helpful.
Yeah.
How did that transition go from like, you know, growing up creating art to actually being a professional artist, doing, you know, all types of either commercial work or selling your own work? Like, how did that go?
Yeah. So I went to art college and, you know, learned a lot there.
And where did you go to art college? Sorry.
So, well, I grew up in Miami, went to a lot of art classes there, and Miami had some really great public schools that had awesome art programs when I was growing up. So then after high school, I went to Baltimore for college, to Maryland Institute College of Art. And that was really rad.
Choose Baltimore of all the places to
it feels
go?
random.
From Miami.
Two things: scholarship, and I wanted to choose something very different than what I knew. You know, like the warm tropical Miami, the old, cold, just like very historic Baltimore. So a little of both, you know.
Yeah, and then while in Baltimore, what was that vibe like? I've never even been to Baltimore, actually.
So this was during 2001 to 2005. I was there, and I was in a town called Bolton Hill, like a little neighborhood. That's where the college is, and it's just very historic. A lot of like brownstone and brick and snow, and I mean, there's also a lot of crimes. A lot of my friends, like students, they would get mugged, or you know, people would come in to the college neighborhood because it was kind of easy pickings, but overall it was
easy pickings. Is like shooting fish in a barrel.
I mean, college kids are fucking stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it was a good learning experience, and I had a great time in Baltimore.
Yeah,
but after I graduated, I'm like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah, like you go back to Baltimore anymore?
I had been once after college, but no, I don't really go visit.
So while you're in college and you're working on your craft, were you already experimenting with more of this like trippy, colorful, psychedelic work, or were you kind of going all over the place, or how did you find your style that you're, you know, kind of so well known for today?
I found it, I would say, middle of college. I decided to study abroad in France when I was a junior, and that was one of the best decisions I made. If any college students are listening, I recommend studying abroad for a semester because it really opened my mind. I didn't speak French. I had never lived outside of the U.S., and it really kind of like stretched my brain a little bit. So there is when I started doing a lot of the paperwork, and it was mainly because I was looking for an affordable material in the art store, and you know, oil paints were expensive. I'm a college student. The euro's really high compared to the dollar, so I just bought a stack of simple construction paper for like €1 and took it back to the studio and started cutting and doing these methodic, colorful, kind of like psychedelic sculptures with it.
And it was just that simple. It was like you had the constraint of money.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, well, like, what can I get with what we have? And then you had all these colors in the construction paper. And you just started rearranging them. And
yep.
The next thing you know, like X-Acto knifing, really, right?
Exactly. And sometimes, for me, constraints can be a really good thing. Having rules, it just makes my brain expand and try to figure out what I can do with it. I feel like sometimes when artists have too many choices, it like makes you freeze.
When was
I feel
the
like
first
that's kind
time?
of life in general, right? Like, I feel like having a million choices, like, is generally. I think if you don't really think about it, and someone's like, "Do you want 3 choices or 100?" You'll be like, "I want 100 choices," so then I can choose the absolute best one. But then that like choice paralysis that comes afterwards is really hard.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's how I feel when I'm on the DoorDash app. And I'm just like, fuck, there's 863 results. Like, how am I going to get the best bagel?
Yeah, Deez is like, which In-N-Out do I want to order from? I don't know. There's like 500.
I don't know.
Like,
And then I'm
which
on
is the
Twitter,
best?
and I'm just crowdsourcing my food because I can't make a decision.
Wow.
And then they're just sending me like 7 different recommendations, and then I just order food from a place no one recommends anyway.
What was some of your favorite delivery?
This trip, I always go back to Raw Berry.
Okay.
It's just, I don't even know if it's popular.
I don't know.
It's just some acai and smoothie place.
Delish.
We got
Wait,
it.
I
while
feel
we
like you need the context of just like Deez just consumes smoothies more than probably any human on the planet. I feel like
only at NFT events. It's not something I get.
So you don't do that at home?
No,
that's crazy,
dude.
dude.
We got a Ninja blender, and we started making smoothies with some frozen fruit and just fruit that we get that's going to go bad. and that's really nice. But no, like not at the level here.
Okay.
I'll drink 2 smoothies a day during like NFT events.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, I
feel like that's how you like re-energize yourself every day. Like I need a couple smoothies, so I'm good to go.
Today was crazy because I had 3 bagels.
Wow.
Yeah, you did. I watched you have 3 bagels.
My friend came on the pod and he brought 16 bagels to our house. 8 of them were bacon, egg, and cheese, and the other 8 were just like whatever normal stuff. And it was 5 people to eat all these bagels.
Wow.
So we're just
good job.
But not too much about our LA trip. Rawberry, and then we've eaten out a good bit. We had Parks Barbecue, Korean barbecue. That was really, really, really
and that's
good.
Fun too. Like cook it at the table.
Yeah, it's really interactive.
Yeah.
And then we don't really have anything like that, I don't think, in Columbus, or not at that level.
Besides like Benihana.
Yeah, that's different. We've gone there. We've gone there before, and it's just not the same. It feels like bastardized.
Because it is.
It feels so.
It feels bastardized because it is bastardized.
It just feels so weird being there. Like being at the Korean barbecue place felt good. Like it felt like we were meant to be there. But like the Benihana just feels like I'm like at a place. I don't know. I almost feel like it's not. I don't even know what this. I want to make sure I get canceled for what I'm saying.
No, I think you're good. We have had one other time where Deez was talking about food with someone, and we had to cut it out of the podcast.
And it was probably
there's some unreleased footage of Deez talking about food.
It's closely related to Benihana. It's like a similar thing, but I'm just gonna shut up about that.
All right, so look, can we go back a little bit?
Back to Jen.
Back to you. So you study abroad. You're like,
yes,
this is awesome. You got you kind of find your style, whatever. When you come. So you said after Baltimore you left. Did you go back to Miami? I
did. I went back to Miami for about a month, and I was like, okay, what am I going to do? And then my Baltimore friend called me, and she's like, hey, I'm in Philly right now, and I have a job for you if you want. It's at Anthropology. And I'm like, oh, cool. I get to make displays at an anthropology museum. I'm down. So I flew up to Philly. And then she actually tells me what the job is, and it's doing the art walls for the Anthropology retail store, which I didn't know what Anthropology was. So I thought that was funny, but I signed on, and it was an incredible job for someone out of college. I was with this small team of artists and plasterers, and we would travel around the U.S. to all different cities wherever Anthropology was opening, and just work alongside construction workers with our big old boots and our hard hats and just get dirty doing art walls.
That's really cool.
It was cool. Had like a per diem, every day, and lived in hotels. So I saw a lot of the U.S. over those 2 years.
So what city has the coolest Anthropology? Or at least in 2006?
Honestly, I don't remember, but we were in California a lot. We did a lot of California stores.
I feel like Anthropology is a big California store.
What's your favorite city that isn't LA, Miami, or New York?
Ooh, dang, Tokyo? We're talking U.S.?
Have you had any murals or?
No, I hear it's pretty hard as a foreigner to get murals in Tokyo, but I'd love to work on it.
That'd be cool.
Anybody out there can hook it up.
Well, I think that's one of the coolest things about like Miami. You hit the airport and you're like, holy shit, that's Jen's work. Like you're just going through trying to get to the Uber and it's up there.
Yeah, that's my hometown, Miami. So it's really awesome to have my art in the airport there. It's so cool. So many people see it.
How many like big murals have you done like that? Like the building we went to the other day where it's just like the whole building. I feel like I've seen a good amount of them, but how many do you reckon, you think you've done it?
Maybe like 5.
Okay.
Or 6, yeah.
And how long does it take to do one of those? Like what's the process?
The one in downtown took 4 weeks, which was the longest because it was like 200 feet long. It was semi-intricate. So 4 weeks, a team of 5 or 6 of us. Okay. But usually it's anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks.
And so with that team, like you're not painting the entire thing. Are you like kind of doing the like baseline for it? Or are you more making the like original on on like a computer and then saying, okay, now recreate this, and kind of more leading everyone?
So whenever I make a mural, I always kind of do a sketch on paper and, show the client, they approve it. And then I go in there with scissor lifts or boom lifts, and I literally take a pencil and I just start drawing on the wall. So it's not projected. I'll look at my sketch and kind of be like, okay, this should be here. And I just guesstimate, and it just works out somehow. So I'll literally draw the whole mural with pencil, and then I have all the paints on the lift with me, and I'll just dot like red, yellow. So my team will know what to paint. So it's like a paint by number.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's fun.
They're fun. I love being outside and just like, being in the elements, painting the mural.
I've always been like a hands-on creator, from like the construction paper to the anthropology stores to now. It's like you're very hands-on, not afraid to use different materials, not just using normal paint. Like,
yes,
it definitely stands out. But sorry, I cut you off.
No, pardon my ignorance because I know nothing about this. Is that something where you are putting yourself out there and saying like, hey, I want to paint murals, like buildings who want murals, hit me up? Or are they reaching out to you because they really like your art and say, hey, are you interested in this? And now that since you've done one or two, they know that you will do it. What's that process kind of like?
Yeah, usually they come to me, which is awesome. Like anything in life, you kind of have to show what you can do in order to get more jobs like it, So I did my first mural when I moved back to Miami after anthropology, and I was working for this art hotel called the Sagamore. I was working for the owner, cleaning the artwork, changing the art DVDs, and she asked me to paint a mural near the pool, and I'm like, hell yeah, this is awesome. So that was my first start with murals, and someone saw that I could do that, so I got another mural, and it just kind of grew from there. So usually people see what I do and just reach out.
That's really cool. Did you I guess doing that first one, was that something that you had wanted to do, or it just kind of like fell into your lap and you did it and you were like, this is cool and I like doing it?
Yeah, it fell into my lap. She wanted something on the wall and asked me to paint something. I'm like, okay, cool.
That's fun.
Let's do it.
I'm just going to keep asking you things about your history because I know very much less about it than Dee's does.
No, it's good.
All right, so you're back in Miami doing this. What was kind of from that point, like, did you always have in the back of your mind while you're working at anthropology or at this place that like, I'm doing all of this to establish myself to just become a full-time artist? Or were there other kind of pathways in and around art that you were also kind of like considering? Or was it just always like, this is just a point in time where eventually I will be an artist?
I was always pretty focused on being an artist. So when I had that job, I was saving up my money because I knew I would have to move. I wanted to move back to Miami to be like a real artist. So I was, over those 2 years, saving my money. I would come back to my hotel room and make drawings, sculptures. I would keep creating my own art, even after sometimes like 12-hour days doing anthropology stuff. So I just kept at it. And then eventually I saved up enough money and I'm like, okay, I'm moving back to Miami. I'm just going to jump. And I got a studio there, and I was able to sell some like drawings out of the studio, and I got the part-time job at that hotel, which was really awesome. So yeah.
And so then how long was it from then to, or like what was kind of the path to getting to a point where you were able to kind of self-sustain on your own artwork as like your full-time job?
Yeah, I would say after like the first year, I didn't need to work at part-time at the hotel anymore, and I was just making a living off my art. So yeah, this is about 2008 maybe.
And were you selling prints or like commissions? What was that?
Yeah, I was making prints or selling paintings and drawings out of the studio, sculptures, just kind of. I had a studio on South Beach called right on Lincoln Road, called Art Center, and there was a bunch of just like subsidized artist studios. So anybody on Lincoln Road could come in, walk into your studio.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was cool. It also kind of felt like an aquarium a little bit, like like you're at a zoo, because anybody could just walk and like look in your studio because it's all glass. But yeah, that's where I was mainly, selling stuff, and then eventually getting gallery shows and solo shows in Miami, and yeah, it all kind of worked out.
That's really cool. All right.
I got a question about psychedelics.
Yes.
So a lot of your work is very pleasing to look at while under the use of psychedelics. But I want to ask, like, have you ever taken psychedelics? Which I think I know the answer to. But
No. Just kidding.
If yes, when was the first time, and how do you think that has influenced your art?
Yeah. I didn't really take psychedelics until actually the anthropology job. So when I was traveling, that was the first time I actually dabbled in that. I was kind of not a late bloomer in that way. I just didn't until then. So I thought that was interesting because I was already making psychedelic art, like mandala, vortexes, psychedelic drip, before I started getting in that world. And then once I sampled that world, I'm like, oh, this is like the pulse of the universe. This all makes sense. So
yeah, I feel like that's the reoccurring theme amongst all your work. You have these colorful. How would you describe your style? Like, instead of me describing it, how would you describe it?
I describe it as mathematically organic artwork that's inspired by nature, psychedelia, the spiritual world, color theory, and yeah, very, very psychedelic.
And who are like some of your biggest inspirations as an artist?
I would say Yayoi Kusama. I love her work. She's an amazing artist. Let's see. This artist, Tom Friedman, who early on I was inspired by his cut paper sculpture stuff. He made a self-portrait of himself, like his body splattered on the floor, and it was all out of construction paper, like the bones and the blood I'm like, you are insane. And he's cool because he just comes up with the concept, and whatever the material is he thinks will represent it best, he uses it. So he's not like a paper artist. He just does anything. He had a piece that was, I think it was 1,000 hours of staring, and it was just a piece of paper he had on the wall in his bedroom, and he would just stare at it for like an hour a day. And that's the concept. It was just 1,000 hours of staring at this piece of paper, and that's the art.
And so what was the art? Was it the piece of paper, or was it like, it wasn't like a recording of him doing that, right? It was just
right.
paper. Okay.
Yeah. Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Art is wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's taking his word for it.
Yeah, he could have lied.
Yeah, he could have.
I got a 69,000 hour page.
Yeah, Deez, you're gonna sell your monitor, your computer monitor, and be like, "This is 400,000 hours of staring." This is.
Yeah.
I spent 12 hours a day in front of this for 3 years.
See, you could be a concept artist. That's it.
See, I don't even like. That's the type of art that's tough for me to connect to. Like, I connect a lot more. Like, your art is very tangible and real, and I can look at it and get enjoyment from it. But when it gets into the conceptual, I lose all track of I don't even know. Like,
yeah.
I just lose track of like how I personally value it, which seems to be not much, and then like how others would value it. It's just something I stay out of.
Yeah. I get that. I feel like there are certain mediums of art that get like really heady and conceptual that I can appreciate, like a really weird movie or something where it like, the average person watching it is like, what the fuck am I watching? But it's like, no, it's this crazy conceptual thing. Like, I feel like I can appreciate that more than something that's still, and I think that's just like part of how my brain works. Like, I have a harder time like doing all of the work myself in my head, whereas at least with a, hour and a half long movie, there's some bit of it that's kind of being explained to you as you go along. But I definitely agree, Deez. It's like a challenging thing for me as someone who's like very, very much so like an engineer, not artistically inclined to like really understand.
Yeah, what does a day in the life look like?
A day in my life. Wake up. I live in LA. Usually it's not rainy. It has been for the last couple months, but drive to the studio. I live about 15 minutes away from my studio. Come here, make some coffee, just sit down at my desk and either open up my laptop or start sketching in my sketchbook, like trying to come up with ideas. I usually have a few different projects I'm working on at once. So, yeah, on Zoom meetings, taking calls, just all sorts of stuff.
Any exciting things that
Yes.
you can leak? This will air probably May?
Yeah, a couple months.
Okay.
It's gonna be a couple months.
Well, a couple months
but
after that, in August, something big is happening, and you saw a peek of
I
it.
can't say.
So that'll launch this summer, and it's a global thing, and I think
And
people are
we'll
gonna
all be
love
aware of it by the time it launches. We'll see it.
Yeah. So keep a lookout for that. I'm also doing Cascade Show, that interactive
Nice.
projection.
Back in New York?
No, we're doing it in LA.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we're shooting for, I would say, early 2024.
Okay.
It's kind of a moving thing right now, but we're looking for the perfect space and making it bigger, and I'm excited for it to be in my hometown.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
It was in a good location last time. In New York, it was like right in Brooklyn, Williamsburg, right next to everything.
Yep.
So in the same kind of line of thinking as like whatever you're working on, day in the life, how do you think about, like, you said you always have a couple things that you're working on. Like, is it something that you consciously think about of like, I want to release this much work every year? Or like, do you think about kind of that supply or anything like that? Or is it more just like, I want to make cool shit and this is what it's going to be and these are my ideas right now, so I'm going to do it?
Yeah, I don't really think about supply. I just create whatever I want to see happen, or companies will come to me with the concept, or I'll just create whatever I think I want to make. Or if someone invites me to be in a show, then I'll be like, okay, this concept to work for that. But yeah, it's all kind of spontaneous.
That's cool. I appreciate that. I feel like it's been very interesting getting to talk to different artists about like how thoughtful they are or intentionally not thoughtful they are about like kind of that side of the business, because like it just makes it very clear that you can be on either side of the spectrum and have it work for you and be successful. But like for some people, like when we talked to Dave Krugman about it, he's like extremely intentional about when he releases things and kind of the cadence and all of that. And like I feel like on the other side, it's cool to hear like, oh no, I just I'm gonna make the stuff that I like, and it's cool. Like to me, that is also like part of the art, because I feel like I can appreciate that side of it, of like not thinking about it or thinking about it. I would definitely err on the side of not thinking about it, so I appreciate it. Yeah,
that's mainly when I was mentioning that I was more talking about like the physical artwork, sculptures, paintings, but with with digital stuff and NFT stuff, I do strategize a lot and try not to do too many drops back to back. So
yeah, I feel like true. You definitely like. It's not super often. Like if you're dropping something, it's like, okay, she's doing something. Like, you should pay attention to it, which definitely works out well for you, I think.
Thanks.
Yeah. Speaking of the LACMA drop.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, I'm looking at the Stark bar, which I don't know. Apparently, maybe it was named that before, but maybe they named it after you. I don't know.
No.
But then, right under the name Stark bar is Jen Stark's art showing on the screen.
It's a matrix.
And that was like the first thing I saw when I walked in. And then alongside Ixchel's, a couple other badass ladies. Like, how did that come together?
So that came together through Cactoid Labs, and they've been speaking with LACMA for a while, trying to figure out a good NFT initiative to launch, and eventually Cactoid Labs asked us to be a part. So it's me, Ixchel's, Sarah Zucker, Monica Rizzoli, and Emily G. And they asked us all to create a piece to become an edition, and that launched a week or two ago. And it was just really cool to be involved with LACMA, because it's such a huge institution, and it kind of just helps validate this whole world, the Web3 world. And and the Stark bar is not in relation to me. That was a weird coincidence.
It's just meant to happen.
Yeah.
I literally I asked Cactoid. I was like, hey man, like it's called Stark Bar. That's for Jen, right? Like
I funded that wing, so
I mean,
So how much of your time, now that we've kind of gotten into the NFT stuff a little bit, how much of your work, like time on work right now, is NFT stuff? How much is more traditional art stuff? I guess, do you kind of view it all into the same bucket at this point, or how do you kind of compartmentalize those things?
I would say it's half and half. It definitely, I wasn't making as much digital work before NFTs, but now it's like a little more focused on that. So I would say half and half. I still love to create physical art, and I think it informs a lot of my digital stuff. So I like using all different mediums and just kind of pulling from different places.
Yeah, that's cool. How did you, I guess going back a little bit, what was kind of your process of getting into NFTs at all in the first place? So I guess I don't want to make that big of a jump because I feel like there's probably some interesting things that happened between 2008 and you getting into NFTs. But like, do you want to give the abridged version of that quick process?
I'll try.
Well, it could also be the long version. That's also totally fine.
All right. So moved back to Miami, had a couple, solo shows, started to try to get my name out there. I had a lot of luck kind of being an artist around the blog era, like 2007 to 2009, kind of right before social media became popular. Everybody was going to blogs and websites and just, soaking in creativity that way. So my artwork, luckily it's like very colorful and people seem to love it. So I think it got passed around to a lot of blogs, and at one point my website crashed because there was so much traffic coming to it, and that helped kind of a lot of different people see my work, and that was amazing. And just getting my name and my artwork out there, and that was kind of a pivotal moment. And then in college I was actually an animator, so I would do stop motions out of sculptures. So kind of like,
that's really fun.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It was the actual paper sculptures that I would photograph and animate. That was like my minor in college. So I kept doing that through the years and collaborating. I did like a music video for Dan Deacon with one of those, and then eventually MTV hit me up and they're like, do you want to create artwork for the MTV VMAs? And Miley Cyrus is hosting. So of course I'm like, yeah, definitely. This is 2015. And actually that same month I coincidentally met Miley through a friend, Wayne Coyne of the Flaming Lips. And so I got to know her, and Wayne showed her my work, and it was this weird moment in the universe that brought everything together. And because Miley liked my work, she helped push it really far on the show, and I did stage design. Like I can send you clips for this if you want to overlay.
yeah, let's do it.
She slid down the wormhole, like a big Jen Stark wormhole,
that's really sick.
as her entrance, and the LED curtains kind of opened on the psychedelic drip animation. It was wild. And I also created a bunch of the animations we did with David Lewandowski, he's been my collaborator for a long time, and he's an amazing artist himself. So he helped create those.
And your host, Miley Cyrus.
What's up, everybody?
But
That's really cool. A quick aside. It's really a shame that MTV lost their way. That's totally out of left field. But
Yeah.
I feel like if they had kind of stayed on their path of like the really weird music video stuff and hosting those like award shows and all of that, like I feel like they would have had a moment right now. I think it would have been popular and like done really well. And now it's just like I don't even really know what MTV is anymore. It's not super relevant.
yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure, but they did have a moment. It was really wild and fun and,
Yeah.
new.
Yeah, it was a good
Just
time.
watch it. That's like all you watched growing up.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like that and VH1, and you watch this fucking crazy ass reality shows.
Oh, I love that.
Road
I mean,
rolls.
yeah.
Yep.
Now it's just Bravo. Bravo does the same thing, but like on steroids.
It's good times. I feel like those were the things that your parents didn't want you to watch, but like I wanted to watch them.
Yeah.
That's what I think of. I think of.
So I gotta watch like Tila Tequila's dating show.
Yeah, fucking Rocco Love. You'd be watching like all the washed up like
What was
B-list
Flavor Flav's
celebrities.
like Flavor of Love?
Oh yeah, Flavor Flav.
great.
Oh
man.
gosh.
Then they're getting spin-offs to the people on Flavor Flav show. That's when you knew they were running out of ideas. They're like, all right, we got some crazy people trying to fuck Flavor Flav, so we're gonna just take more of them and have other crazy people try to fuck them.
Yeah,
Those were the times.
they were.
Anyway, not to go back into Flavor Flav's land. I didn't know the Miley Cyrus clip happened.
Yeah,
I
I didn't
when-
see a clip of that. That's really cool.
I gotta ask about the Demi Lovato thing while we're recording.
Yeah.
You recently made a shroom room
Yep.
for her.
Well, she created the shroom room. I just
Well,
helped her
You helped.
with
You
the art.
accented the shroom room with your art.
Yes.
How did this opportunity come up? Did she see your mural on the side of a building, or
I noticed she was following me on Instagram. So she liked my artwork, and I think I had DM'd her like, thank you so much. You're awesome. I love you. And separately, my friend Eva Seta, who works at MoCA, Museum of Contemporary Art in LA, she was asked to kind of help curate her art collection. So they were, renovating her house, and Architectural Digest did a big interview on her for it. But she created it, and she asked me to have art in it, and I'm like, yes, the shroom room, definitely. So I did this design on her wall that was kind of like my vortexy mandala, like kind of drippy psychedelic shapes, and it's a vibe. It's a cool.
For you, like, hey, we do art, we do this, we also do shroom rooms.
has anyone else asked
Maybe.
you about doing a shroom room since that came out?
No,
I feel like that's a myth for people.
I'm surprised Guy doesn't have a place, but maybe when he has a place, I could see him approaching you
yeah,
about a shroom room.
that would be cool. I'm down, guy. Hit me up. I'll see you later tonight. And I'll.
The Gen Stark vibes are perfect for the mushrooms. Like it's really great that Demi also understands that.
Yeah,
Do
it
you
was
feel like
perfect fit.
are there? This is probably a weird question. I was gonna ask, are there like other celebrities that follow you that? But then that's kind of a weird one. We can just cut that. Because I was like, I also don't like. I put myself in that position, and I was like, oh well, I don't even look at the people who really follow me. Like I just found out Garrett Wilson follows
Yeah,
me.
for D's, it's like random athletes follow him.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm like, fuck, I should ask
that's
them to do
cool.
a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh fuck, that's weird.
Weird.
They haven't talked to me, but they follow me. But like then I'm just gonna ask them like, hey man, I noticed you followed me.
Yeah, that's one of those weird things where like I guess I kind of always assumed that like someone like Demi Lovato doesn't actually use her own Instagram.
Yeah,
It's
like I
just,
thought she would have
like if I was as famous as Demi Lovato, someone who I paid would use my Instagram, and I would have like a burner Instagram that was like, Lemmy Dovato, and no one would know who I was.
No one would know.
And it'd be on private, and it would just be like for my friends. But it's always funny. I feel like those like mega celebrity lives are very weird.
What's been your most memorable experience as a creator? Because you've had some crazy ones since we started talking.
I mean, the MTV Miley Cyrus one was a highlight. I also had a backstage pass, so I was there during the show, and I got to go on stage and just see all the celebrities running around, and went to Miley's after party. That was really wild and fun. It was like on the rooftop of the Roosevelt Hotel. Yeah, that was a cool highlight. I also just creating the murals, the big murals that I've done, like Technicolor Ooze and Chromatic Cascade that you saw. Those are really awesome. Just being outdoors, painting, and having artwork that's not like in a gallery or in a museum that everybody can see. It's kind of like democratizing art, It's just out there for anybody to enjoy.
Where is Technicolor Ooze at?
So that one's in Culver City at
Okay.
Platform LA.
Gotta drive a little bit.
You're doing all this art stuff. You do all this. Do you do anything like? Do you have any like hobbies in your free time that you're like I'm super blocked on this. Like I can't. I have like, I don't know. Like I don't want to think about anything work related. Like anything else that you do for fun, or is that like, is this all just fun for you? And I feel like we've talked to a few people where it's just like, no, I don't really do anything else for fun. This is just like all I want to do, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, this is my passion. So this is my hobby. This is my professional career. This is what I love to do. But I do other things for fun. You know, I'm kind of a foodie. I love trying new places and traveling, and I love plants, roller skating.
If you could only go to 3 restaurants in LA for the rest of your life, what would the top 3 be?
Probably Mercato, this Ethiopian restaurant that I love.
Is awesome. It is so great.
Yeah.
Big Ethiopian fan.
Mercato? Okay.
Mercato. Ooh, on the spot, huh?
I had to.
I mean, you just went to Spago.
Yeah.
That place is pretty bomb.
It's pretty crazy.
Where else? So we got the Italian, we got the Ethiopian, maybe like Thai. What? Oh, I like Spicy BBQ. It's like this little mom and pop, like Northern Thai menu in, like East Hollywood. It's really good, and you can bring your own wine.
Oh, are a lot of places like that in Hollywood where you can bring your own wine? Or
Not really. It's more of like the mom and pop smaller places. Usually if they don't have
do they not have a liquor license?
Right.
Okay.
So if you ask them, they're like, okay, sure, whatever.
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite meal ever? I guess like I'm also kind of a bit of a foodie. Well, I'm not kind of, I'm a foodie as well.
We like food.
Yeah.
We can talk about food.
Yeah. Like, so my fiance and I, like when we travel, we essentially travel around food. Like we don't plan our trips based on like, oh, we want to go see this, like, you know, monument or this statue. It's like, all right, we want to go to this restaurant. We need to go to this restaurant. We need to try this coffee shop.
Same.
Yeah. So you have like a particular place or trip that you just have like a very fond memory of like a favorite place you've had?
Yeah, Mexico City. I mean, the eating there is good.
All right, we'll have to talk later. My 10-year anniversary is this year, and we're going to Mexico City
Okay.
to eat food. So we have a reservation at Pujol,
There you go.
but I want to know the other places.
Contramar. You
Okay.
gotta go there.
I've only been hearing good things about Mexico City for last year. Like
Crypto people fucking love Mexico City.
It's not a place that I had on my list of like, oh, I really need to go there. But like the last year or two, everyone's like Mexico City.
It's pretty rad. It's a cool place. It kind of reminds me of, I don't know, Miami vibes a little bit, but it's just this awesome city in Mexico, and
It's
there's
really elevated, right?
yeah, there's amazing restaurants there, like, you know, 5-star restaurant, like, you know, full course meal experiences. It's
I love a good
delicious.
tasting menu.
Yes.
I'm anywhere I can go and not have to order, and I say I'll take the tasting menu and the wine pairing, and that's the end of the conversation. Sign me up. I'm all in.
Yes. And there's this drink that I love in Mexico City called carajillo, and it's like, it's almost like an Americano shaken up with rum. It's like this rum called 43, and it's like this after dinner coffee drink that's like boozy, and it's delicious, and everybody just drinks it.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Yeah, try that when you're there.
All right.
Carajillo.
Any other cities that you really enjoyed traveling to for food?
Japan.
Yeah, so I haven't spent time in Tokyo, but I spent 2 weeks in Osaka, and the food there was just like fucking crazy.
Yeah,
It was
and
so
it's
good.
clean. It's like healthy and delicious, and, you know, Japanese breakfast. Mwah.
Oh yeah.
Wait, what's Japanese breakfast?
Well, just in general, like Japanese breakfast in general. There's actually a really good spot in Brooklyn, Okonomi,
Oh yeah.
that has bomb Japanese breakfast.
Yeah, I'm super close to there.
But yeah,
We're doing in New York.
there you go.
Yeah.
It's really small, but it's so good.
Deez, we'll eat well. Now that you'll be close to me, we'll eat well the whole time. I got you.
I'm gaining 10 pounds per NFT event this year. It's not a great look.
Well, you're looking good.
The Spago and that, I mean, every place I just feel like I'm the blueberry girl from Willy Wonka, and you just need to roll me out because I've eaten too much. It's a good problem to have. But
Yeah.
it's still like, damn.
And so, wait, do you roller skate often?
Not that often, but I like to do it a few times a year.
Okay. Do you like go to a rink, or do you?
Yeah, I like to go to like Moonlight roller rink. I actually rented it out for my birthday one year.
Oh, that's really fun.
The whole skate rink, and that was rad. I think it was for my 30th birthday. Just have all your friends come.
Have you
And
ever had any significant injuries while skating?
no, I've only broken my pinky. It's
Wow.
just like a little bit bobo. That's it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
We were just talking about your boyfriend's breaking his foot.
Yeah, he's a skater. He's over 40, so he has a little foot injury right now.
You're not
He
doing any tricks on your skates. You're not jumping. Did
Me, no.
360s.
Nah, I don't need to do that.
Fair enough.
What's your favorite food to cook? Not to eat.
I mean, during COVID, I got really into just making my own pasta,
Yeah.
as a lot of people
Oh,
did.
that's fun.
It's therapeutic almost, huh?
Yeah.
What's your favorite type of pasta noodle?
I would say pappardelle. Pappardelle.
I mean,
It's kind of like,
What is that?
it's almost like shreds of like lasagna. How would you?
I don't know how I would describe it.
It's like linguine, but thicker.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, wider, but thinner.
Okay.
It's like ribbons.
Yeah. It's nice because it has a good surface area to pick up whatever sauce you're eating and all of that. It's good texture.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I think it usually has to be handmade,
I think so.
pappardelle. So,
It's probably why I've never had it. I'm over here like, yeah, I like fettuccine.
Mine,
stick it in the water.
Yep.
my favorite pasta, I'm not sure like actually even is pasta. Is I love gnocchi.
Yum.
Because isn't that actually more like
It's potato.
Yeah. But I still consider it a pasta. I don't care. I fucking love
Same.
gnocchi.
Good. I always mispronounce it. Gnocchi. I would say gnocchi. But there's been some good places here in LA that we've gotten that like every night. Anytime they have it, we try it. And it just melts
Delish.
in your mouth. It's like butter.
It is. It's so good.
So when you're making your pasta, what's the sauce? Is it red sauce? Is it Alfredo?
I mean, sometimes just like a simple butter with sage,
Okay.
just salty.
Yeah, pasta with butter and salt.
Yeah.
It's hard to go wrong.
Yeah. Or like
Do you
red
ever
sauce.
see yourself getting out of LA, or do you think this is like the forever spot?
I'm pretty settled here, so this is the spot for a while.
Yeah.
And then after that, who knows? Maybe I'll never leave.
Do you think would it be like going back to Miami? Do you still have a lot of family there, or
I do, yeah. My mom's there, sister's there, lots of best friends, I grew up with. I don't know, maybe I'll move back to Miami when I am 60.
Yeah, I feel like Allie and I are at a point we were talking about it where it's like if we're moving out of New York, it's probably out of the country. Where it's like go
Yeah,
to Spain, or
Portugal.
go to Portugal. Spain.
There's a lot of crypto
Not
people
gonna
there.
lie, I was like literally looking at property in Portugal the other day. Every once in a while, I'll get in the mood and be like, Allie, so many stupid crypto laws. I'm looking at property
We're
in Portugal.
announcing our.
yeah. I'll be like, I'll get in a bad mood and be like, I'm gonna renounce my citizenship. We don't have to get married yet, so you can still go back and forth to the U.S.
Fuck
It's
those
fine.
taxes.
Ugh.
And then she's like, Andy, get over yourself. It's fine. And I do.
That's the problem we have. We look at it and it's like, well, we can leave the U.S., but then we leave our family.
Yeah.
And that's not fun.
You leave your home.
It just feels weird. I don't know. I couldn't move to Portugal and just pack it all up.
I think I could
Yeah.
do it. I think the hardest part would be the time zone difference, because it's a big
Totally.
time zone difference. Whereas like, I think if like to be honest, I
wanna
don't
go to
it's not like
South
I see my
America?
family all the time. Even my parents live in New Jersey and I live in New York, and I see them like I don't know once or twice a month maybe, which is like not bad for someone who's 29. And like I wish I would see them more. Honestly, I think like as I get older, I've noticed realized more and more how that becomes more valuable to me. But like. My siblings my sister lives in South America. My other one lives in
Wow. Cool.
Tennessee. Yeah, she like studied abroad in Ecuador and met a guy, and now she just lives in Ecuador with this guy.
Fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, she's super happy. It's great. But so yeah, like my family's already all over the place, and so I think it like is a little bit easier then. But it would really just be like if I'm on a 6-hour time difference from all of my friends and family, it just so much limits like how much you can kind of keep up with their lives. It's like we were in Spain for 2 months this summer, and it was like really awesome. But at the same time, I just felt very, very disconnected from people because of that time zone change. Whereas like, it's not like I really saw them that much less than I would have over that 2-month period, but not being able to like kind of see the same like events that are happening in the U.S. and like text about it or whatever was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But then you could just go to South America though. Then you could be on.
I'm not going to be one of those El Salvador. Yeah, I'll be like one of the Bitcoin guys.
Go to
Buy-
the Puerto Rico, dude.
Nah, I talked to lawyers about did the actual due diligence of the whole Puerto Rico thing, but I think we have become so accustomed to, you live in LA or you live in New York, we can go to a different new restaurant every week, and that's something that we really enjoy as a way to spend time together and try new things. And I think if we tried to go to every restaurant in San Juan, we probably could in a couple months, and we'd be bored. So yeah, all that to say, I'm not moving to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, no, we looked at New York and LA, and just too stressful to try to make it happen because we got accustomed to a certain lifestyle.
Yeah, I feel like you're a house man.
Totally.
Yeah, and I just after this week, I'll go home, and I mean, I gotta go to a wedding, but I won't talk to anybody till NFT NYC, hopefully.
Nice.
I mean, I'll have to talk to people, but I have to recharge a little bit.
Yeah. Gotta relax and chill.
Yeah, you know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like it's different too. As a creative, you're more on that working schedule of, okay, I have a block of time where I want to create something. Where a lot of what I do is I'm trying to make, either trades based off of time-sensitive information.
Yeah.
Or working on the pod, working on Escher, working on something else. But it's different schedule. It's a lot more you're switching focus and tasks every 5, 15, 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that sometimes doesn't help, but I've been trying to create more too. And when I do that, I need to create a 2-hour block of time.
Jesus become a fucking AI art god.
Claire got me hooked up mid-journey.
Really?
He's so
amazing.
For the podcast now, kind of the way that we're doing some of a lot of the art artwork for the podcast itself, and also stuff for the podcast NFT owners to claim it's all AI artwork that Deez is making.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So every day he'll just send us a
That's cool.
batch of things that he made, and it's really good. He's getting legitimately very good at it.
We're getting on it. Claire really she AI pilled us after showing us. We did 25 minutes of live prompting, and then I was like, oh, okay, I see how to do this. It started to click.
Yeah.
It didn't click before seeing a pro do it.
Yeah, it was really, really informative. I feel like. Have you Yeah, I think this is something we haven't really been asking artists. So I think we totally should be, because it's super important, I think, going forward. How have you thought about kind of AI art? Is it something that you're interested in? Would you ever want to try and experiment with it? Is it something that you have experimented with? I guess to me, AI is just going to continue to be more and more of something in life. And so even though I don't need Chat GPT for my life now, I try to use it because I think it'll be a valuable skill to have in the future.
Yeah.
How do you think about that as an artist?
I haven't dabbled with it too much, but I should, because I think it's an awesome tool for creators. I don't know code, P5JS or whatever, but you can tell the AI to create that code for something, and it's this amazing tool that can just create whatever you think. So
yeah, it's really cool. I was telling Shant earlier as we were driving over here, what I've been trying to do is have it make websites for me, just to mess around. And so I'll be like, hey, I want you to make this basic React website that has a landing page and this, and just trying to learn how to prompt it the right way and stuff. And I feel even if you don't use that stuff for your artwork, I feel just as a point of inspiration and just kind of really quickly throwing ideas at the wall and stuff, it could be interesting. But it really depends on your creative process and everything too.
Unlimited possibilities. It's wild how fast it's growing right now.
It's kind of scary, but it's cool.
It is kind of scary. It's are we, hurtling full speed towards some singularity event where we just fucking
maybe
end it? But I do like Chat GPT for writing descriptions or summaries of things. It's been really nice when you're trying to get the right text, but you kind of have a brain block and you're just how this doesn't sound good. Just plug it into Chat GPT and just ask it to rewrite it 5 or 10 times, and then just pick your favorite one or just mash two together. But that's been a way to unblock brain fog when getting copied for sure. And I haven't really used it too much outside of that, but I tried to get it to do the AI prompts where like you're talking to ChatGPT about getting prompts to feed into Midjourney, and then it's like outputting them in a table, and then you have a table of all these different modifiers that you could go in and select, and it's crazy.
Pretty crazy.
Wild.
That's the hot thing right now. Like across Twitter and YouTube, a lot of these AI content creators are blowing up. They're getting a lot of engagement on their Twitter threads. They're getting a lot of YouTube views. Yeah. That's kind of like
it's like the thing everyone wants to learn how to do now is how do I learn how to like control the AI prompting better. It's very interesting. Cool. In light of like brain block for things, I know you mentioned like each of your murals you had names for. What is your process for like thinking of a name for a piece?
Thesaurus.com. I actually use a thesaurus a lot.
One of my favorite websites in the entire world is relatedwords.org.
Okay.
And so same thing. That's how we find all of our names for anything we do. Is I just go on relatedwords.org and type in words and see what else comes up and just like go down rabbit holes until I find something that I like.
Amazing.
It's the best because you can click on. It's like a thesaurus but on steroids because you can click on each word and then it'll open up a new set of words based off that word, and then you can just keep going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I think that's how we found Tessera.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'll usually just have an idea in mind of what I want to name it, and then if I'm stuck, I'll jump in the thesaurus, or I have assistants that we bounce ideas back and forth all day.
I feel like that's something ChatGPT could be good for, honestly.
Oh.
I feel like you say like, hey, I have this thing. I think about it's like this, and this. Come up with 50 names for it, and it'll just be like, yeah, sure, here you go. And then even if they're all shit, it takes you 5 seconds. Like,
that's the beautiful thing. It's like they could all be bad, but one word in one of the names will trigger a thing in your head of like, oh shit, that's the name. And then,
well, I haven't named the circle piece yet, so maybe that'll be my chat.
I really like that one. It's really cool.
Sprawling one behind me.
Yes,
all right, everyone should be able to see these. What are the names for the other ones?
Oh, chromatic desaturation, I think. Oh dang, you guys are putting me on the spot. Psychedelic cascade. Something like that.
And then the circle one is unnamed.
The circle's unnamed.
Do you have any like candidates right now for what it will be, or is it total blank canvas?
We're going into AI and gonna choose it that way.
So wait, what are if you were gonna go to your thesaurus right now and put in some words for it, what would you be putting in?
Well, lately I've been doing a lot of work based off refraction, kind of just like holding a glass up to art and like getting inspired by that. So it's kind of like this liquid motion. So yeah, liquid, mandala, psychedelia.
All right, we'll get into ChatGPT later and we'll figure something out.
Ooh.
ChatGPT, give me a name for a circular piece of art that is inspired by liquid, trippy, psychedelic mandalas.
Prismatic dreamscape.
That's not bad.
That's it. I like that.
Yeah. ChatGPT is fucking scary, man.
Bang.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, man. Shout out to AI.
About, like, people are using it over Google now because instead of going to Google and having to curate your own, source, you now just ask ChatGPT, and then you can ask it to also, I guess, link the source if you want to check it. But it's interesting. Like, is there going to be a world where Google is just ChatGPT and not Google?
Yeah. That's what Bard and all these things are. They're just Google searching is just going to be talking to AI eventually. At least I think it will be. And you'll have to basically say like, give me more options. Kind of. I feel like it'll almost be like, remember when Google had the I'm feeling lucky version? Basically, it's talking to ChatGPT is like I'm feeling lucky on steroids, or like Uber steroids.
Yeah, for sure.
You're right.
It's one of those things where I force myself to use it just because, even if I don't have a full-fledged use case, I'm like, I gotta familiarize myself with this.
Yeah. It's gonna be too big of a thing not to spend some time on it.
It's kind of, in a way, semi-related to how a lot of people got into crypto. Like, oh, what is this? Like, I gotta play with it just to see.
Yeah. What's this new?
Oh, wait, so we never actually
we never asked you.
That.
Oh, yeah.
How did you, so you're backstage with Miley Cyrus, you're doing this, you're doing that. When were you like, fuck, this has to be an NFT?
So I had a few digital animations under my belt. I, stop motion animations and digital. And when I first learned about NFTs early 2021, me and my collaborator David Lewandowski were like, we need to be involved with this. It seems amazing. Also, I loved the idea of having permanent provenance.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the art world, this painting could sell and then it goes out into the world forever, and I don't know where it is. I can't.
It's like saying goodbye to your baby, kind of.
Yeah. So that it's just this cool way to have permanence with your art, and the royalty thing is really awesome. Hopefully that'll continue. But giving artists, this awesome income that the art world in the U.S. doesn't do with auction houses. Like, the artist doesn't get a piece of that. So I thought that was really interesting, and we just became obsessed in Clubhouse, at the early days. Just jumped in and started soaking it in like a sponge, learning everything we could, and decided to drop on Foundation. And the first one we dropped was Multiverse, and that was
That's a crazy auction, right?
Overlay it for you. Yeah, it was a crazy auction. Guy was in it. You were in it too, right? Or maybe you jumped in the second one.
I think I got in the microcosmos.
Cosmos,
group,
yeah.
but the first auction,
it was wild. So, I got a couple bids. I think the night before it was up to like $10,000, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing for digital art. That's wild. And then I went to bed, and I had a dream that night. This is the weirdest part. I had a dream that the piece sold for over 100 ETH, which at the time was, I don't know, 400,000. And I'm like, oh, why did I dream that? I'm like setting myself up to be disappointed. I'm like, why did I dream that? That's weird. And then I woke up, and then later that day, more people started bidding on it. They 3FA Music, am I saying that wrong? And Jabulon and Mondwar got in it too. So they started battling, and it was really fun. It was just like wild to see this auction happening live.
Holy fucking shit!
It kept going up and up, and they both wanted it. So the auction ended at 150 ETH, which is crazy. My mind was blown.
Like what a intro.
Yeah.
And so, was that? I have to imagine the most expensive piece of work you had sold up until that point.
Yeah, and I my brain is like so fuzzy today, but 3F Music. Sorry.
Yeah. No.
I was thinking of two-factor authentication. I'm like, what?
No, I knew you meant.
Yes, 3F Music. So they're the one that owns it. But yeah, at that time, the only digital art I ever sold was an animation for a museum, which was awesome, and I think that was like $800, and that was a big deal.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. And so that happens, and then I'm sure there's like a bit of a like holy shit moment to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And then were you immediately like, okay, what's next? How do I like get deeper into this? Or what was that kind of like after you kind of take in that you just had this awesome first sale? What was like, did you kind of have a game plan for what you wanted to do next? Or I know you said probably not too much, but
yeah, well, we knew we had our three, favorites that we wanted to launch, and we started with what I thought was the strongest. I just wanted to come out with a bang, and then we came out with Mandala after that, and then another hypnotic, like crazy wavy one after that, and that was super rare. But yeah, I mean, we had a game plan. After that auction, I was just like, what the hell is happening? This world is so wild. It was fun. The auctions are super stressful also when they're happening. Yeah. It's just like so intense.
Yeah, I've only ever been on the buyer side, but I'm sure it's even more intense as the
And we were in a clubhouse during it, so we were all just like in the clubhouse chatting, just like screaming, and
yeah.
and I'm trying to like put tweets out there, like it's wild.
There's a lot going on. You're like trying to talk on space while trying to promote the drop and trying to give love to the people who bid.
Yes.
And trying to be present in the space that you're in, and like also trying to soak up the moment that like, holy shit, there's a few collectors who are just like going to war for me right now.
Yeah, that was awesome.
What that feels like. And you're just kind of like speechless because you're processing so many different things.
Yeah. This whole world is wild. And a cool part of the world is being in direct contact with the collectors. It's like the art world doesn't really do that. That's why you have gallerists, and it's a little bit more gatekeepy. So this world was really interesting. I could DM the collectors directly and become friends.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I obviously like a lot about this space is how open it is. Collect art from someone, reach out to them, tell them how you connect with the piece. And most of the time, you now have a new friend. There's no like, oh, talk. There's some people who've told me like, oh, you gotta like talk to my agent. I'm just like, I'm good.
Yeah, no thanks.
Like, if I gotta talk to your agent, I'm just gonna go talk to somebody else.
Yeah.
But that's not like that in space. What's been, so how did the art box journey kind of come together? So
that's what I was going to ask too.
Yeah, good.
You have
good segue.
Vortex out there, and I own, I don't know, full disclosure, I think I own like 5 or 6 maybe at this point.
Nice.
Thank
you, sir.
How did that come together? Because like you said, you don't code, but this is a generative art project.
Yeah. So at the time, 2021 was a crazy year for me because I jumped into NFTs. Meanwhile, I was concepting that show, Cascade Show, which launched that summer. So I was creating the concepts in the rooms for that and reaching out to different animators, and I worked with CutMod, who did the interactive rooms, and like Chris Rutledge did one of the just crazy, watery, just oozy rooms. And through him, I was going over to his house a lot, just animating and directing. And he was like, my friend Rich Lord, he loves your work. He's an art blocks guy. He did a couple successful like Geo Runners and Octo Garden. And I looked at his work, and it's just Fibonacci sequence, like the cool mathematical spirals that my art is. And so I reached out to him, and I'm like, hey, would you be... I was always looking at art blocks as like the institutional NFT platform. They were always just elevated and amazing, and I wanted to be a part. So I DM'd Rich, and he was down. He's like, I'm kind of not doing these kind of projects anymore, but I love your art, so I'll do it. This is probably going to be the last one. But so that was awesome. He said yes to me. So we started developing it over like I think 5 or 6 months. And we wanted to base it off my early paper sculptures. So we kind of based it off that vortex shape and just developed it back and forth. I sent him a lot of vectors and color swatches, and And then Jeff Davis was kind of urging me. He's like, okay, you should apply for curated. So we applied for curated, and we got it. And that happened in December of 2021.
What did that application process look like to get on curated? Like, did you have to have everything already built out ahead of time and ready to go, and then show it?
I think we were able to tweak it a little bit after, like troubleshoot the code, but we pretty much had to have it done and uploaded, and they checked it out and they liked it.
Nice. I mean, that early curation process, the art blocks, they had like a board, then the board would kind of vote, so they kind of in a way decentralized it. But it's always interesting. I mean, some project like the curation has been interesting to watch, and now it's kind of just opened up a bit where it's like, hey, we just can't curate it all the time. Like they realized like can't.
Too much.
But yours isn't that iconic like first
It
set.
is. I think it's number 8, which is one of the last ones.
Yeah, I think set 8 might be. Is that the last one?
I think it is the last one.
Yeah. I'm so happy I'm part of the Art Blocks fam. They're honestly the best. They're like the opposite of pretentious. They're
Yeah.
so sweet,
yeah.
so open, especially Snowfro. He's the best.
Yes.
Yeah, good vibes all around from Art Blocks. Big
Yeah.
fans. Yeah, we love them.
I'm trying to think, did I see a vortex on... So in NFT NYC last year, they had like a 3-story wall in the Samsung room. And I don't remember if I was around when I like a vortex showed.
In the movie theater,
It was
Spot?
like, it was kind of in the middle of the building. It wasn't, I don't think it was quite like a movie theater. It was like in the middle of this building. It was just like a 3-foot screen.
oh, the Art Blocks party.
Yes.
Yeah, mine was up there for a bit. Yes.
I want to like, I wish I could go back and just see the show of what they showed on that screen, because that screen was probably the best
Huge.
generative art display I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The quality and crispness of all the art that they showed just like made me want to get a 3-foot.
They do a really good job with all of their display stuff, and like the whole setup they had in Miami was really nice too. They do a good job.
Yeah.
I mean, the Meridians, there were certain ones that I saw Raphael's Endless Nameless on the big screen in New York, and I went home and bought one. 'Cause I was
Nice.
like, I didn't get this until I saw it on this screen. Like, on your phone, it doesn't do the same.
Yeah.
And that's something with the vortexes, too. Like, it looks good on the phone, but it looks so much better on a bigger screen.
Totally. Yeah.
I think that's with a lot of art blocks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Raphael Rosendahl, he's an artist that I looked up to. You know, I loved his work before NFTs, and he's another artist like me where we're in the art world, but we also jumped in the NFT world, and it's cool to just see artists that I've looked up to making NFTs and doing great. And yeah, he's awesome. He's a sweetie pie too. I'll call him for advice once in a while.
What physical piece of art have you made that you're the most proud of?
That's a hard one.
It is. I would say the Cascade show. I don't know if that's physical, but
I mean, it was kind of like a physical experience.
yeah, it's like interactive projections. But that's my most recent thing that I'm super passionate about. Just visitor interaction and letting people play with the art and kind of become an artist, you know. So I love that, and I'm just gonna keep pushing it forward and doing more interactive stuff and maybe more like NFT interactive.
Speaking of interactive, we had the headset on the table we were talking about.
Yes.
I could see some virtual cascade shows that are equally.
Yeah. That would be amazing.
I like the interactive experience if they engage, like specifically kids, a lot more. Seeing people run up to, you had a couple different interactive things at Cascade. You had the floor that was kind of, was it magnetic or like I don't remember if it was like the shapes were glued to you and following you, or if they were repulsed and going away.
They were glued to you, yeah.
Glued.
You were like, your body is a magnet. So we used LiDAR, which scanned the whole room, and it could tell where you're standing. So these projected shapes just fell down the wall very slowly like snowflakes. And then just once they were on the ground, they just magnetized to you. And we created physics with them so that when certain shapes collided, there would be like marimba sounds and
Really
xylophone.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It was fun, like music interactive and physical.
And then you had the touch wall, where if you went and put your hand up next to it, let's start animating,
Yes.
doing something different. And
Strobe
That
wall.
sounds like a lot of fucking work.
Yeah.
How big was the team of like that? Just from like a software perspective, sounds really complex. Did you like find an outside team for that, or how did you go about just like the logistics of making that happen?
Yeah, it was a huge learning experience. My brain grew 3 sizes that year. I just kind of reached out to all my favorite animators or people who I thought would be a good fit and just kind of just made it happen. And then my gallerist, Josh Liner, he's kind of the one that presented the idea to me, and then I started concepting, and we used Art Market Production, and they built the show out, did all the production and the technical stuff, and Optical Animal did the projectors and projection mapping. So it was a big team. I think about maybe like 50 people or more working on it. We had a full, staff that would do ticketing and security and the gift store. It was wild.
The gift store is
That's
such
cool.
a nice touch too. Like I think that's one thing you do really well. Not only do you have super high-end one-on-one art, but you have super accessible badass merch across the spectrum. And
Yeah, you crushed the merch game.
yeah,
Thanks.
speaking of the hat, but like after walking around the experience, it's like, oh shit, like I can take some of that home. How did you get into the merch game, and like has that always been something you've thought about, or is that more of a recent focus?
It's always been something I've thought about because not everybody can spend the money to buy a painting. So I want to make things a little more accessible for people. And I think I started with maybe like lenticular postcards and clothing. So I kind of, with the art, it's just like creating things that I want to see in the world or that I want to wear. So I think the first outfit was like the psychedelic drip leggings and shirt, and that was pretty iconic. I need to bring it back because that's sold out years ago. So we might do a recent run of it.
Limited edition.
Yep. But yeah, just kind of took off from there, and I just create things that I want to see or want to use, like this drippy mug.
Yeah, the mugs are awesome.
I love the hat, like the fact that it's reversible, it's clean.
Yeah, well, so hold on, I have to say, Deez, you always say that you love how the hat's reversible. I've never seen you wear it the other way.
I had it on the other day. So when
Really? I don't think I noticed.
It might have been the day you were sick.
Probably.
But I was wearing a like those gray Lululemon
Okay, yeah.
tops that are like black and white, but they kind of look gray,
Uh-huh.
and it matched this perfectly.
Yeah, I feel like this is legitimately the first time I've ever seen you wear it this way.
Because I like the
you're too much
colorful
of a bright
vibes.
color guy.
Yeah, I'm much more than the colorful, but there's certain black and white fits
Yeah.
where it just comes through.
Yeah, you have an option, however you're feeling.
No, but the laptop or the big stickers that fit perfectly on a laptop.
Yeah.
Like I love the style of the brand. It's so clean. It's like you know immediately when you look at it that it's like, oh, that's Jen.
Awesome. Thank you.
And then we got notebooks. We
Oh,
got
yeah.
mugs. We got
There's-
hats.
Yeah, definitely have to bring some stickers back for
We
my
got
fiance.
socks.
She'll enjoy those.
100%.
I also need to get hooked up with the hat guy.
Yes.
Yeah, Deez needs more
Girl.
hats.
No, I mean the reversible bucket hat technology. We could do so much. My brain went wild. But anyway, is there anything that's exciting that we haven't talked about? I'm trying to think. Oh, we haven't talked about paint.
Digital paint.
Yeah. Talk
Yeah,
about
digital paint. So that project I launched
That's the newest one.
couple, like, let's say 6 weeks ago. So that was an interactive project that I had been developing in the last year. It kind of came about from Cut Mod in my interactive room, where you would you would just use your hand to like paint projections on the wall. So that was the first concept for it. And then I wanted to create this, an interactive NFT that the collectors could paint and draw with, and it's also accessible to everybody. You can go to digitalpaint.io and anybody can use it. A lot of collectors' kids just love, or friends' kids just love to go on the site because it's musical. Every touch you make with the brushes has different tones. We also have like coding surprises. So yesterday was Yayoi Kusama's birthday.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, so we coded in some like really fun Kusama inspired brushes and colors and stuff, and yeah, developed with Chainsaw and Cut Mod, and that was over the last year.
No, it's like having that physical cascade experience almost in a digital form.
Yes, I love that kind of thing where it's just like taking the NFT a step further and making interactive. And the NFTs, they're interactive on secondary market, so you can go to anyone's and just like paint with it and draw with it. Yeah, it's fun. There's also more surprises that we coded in throughout the year that'll reveal themselves.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
July 4th is what I'm waiting for. I'm
There you
locking
go.
in my.
Oh, you're going to love 420.
Oh shit!
We actually have some cool sounds with that too. You'll like
Some water pulling through a rig and some
yes.
some coughing.
Yeah.
After. Interesting.
Yep.
I have to set I'm bad about. I gotta like set an alarm on 420
I'll text you.
because
I'll
I see
remind
the
you.
tweets. The tweets are like I saw Kusama. So I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was a fun project. I love just like spending big chunks of time developing certain projects and just putting beautiful art out there and letting people enjoy themselves.
Well, I love the focus on like the experience. It's a little different than just, hey, I put this out there, consume it, tell me what you think of it. So here, play with it, touch it,
Yes.
feel it, make it your own, and then you kind of feel. I don't know. To me, it's a big sign when like a kid picks it up,
Yeah.
and then they like it. There's like something powerful about that.
Yeah.
'Cause there's not a lot in our space that you can give a kid and they're like engaged with it for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, the kids, they love digital paint. It's been really fun to watch. Ooh, we got the sun setting.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it just left me to you.
Oh,
I had it
so
for the last little
get
bit.
You're
hit by
going to get the
sun.
sun next
Yeah.
in about 10 minutes.
Nice. What things are you most excited for in this upcoming year? That you can talk about. I know we
Yeah.
mentioned.
I'm excited about that global brand collab that is happening. It'll happen for a few seasons, which is really exciting. What else? Just kind of brainstorming and building with people that I look up to and admire, and just the beautiful thing with the NFT world, it's really helped me understand how important collaboration is. Because like I couldn't do Cascade Show by myself. Like you need a team of 50 people to build the walls and help you with the technology. So, and with the NFTs, I usually team up with people like Rich coded the Vortex collection, and I don't know if P5JS, but I have a concept and I know what I want, and that's also the cool thing with AI. It's like I love that it's going there. You can just think of things and that's your tool.
Yeah.
So
I saw someone mention on the AI idea, or like AI as a way to like think and have it be your tool. They were saying it'll like unlock a lot of stuff where really the true like the skill will be being able to like think and like think for yourself and think of something that someone else hasn't thought of before, because the execution is all just going to be commoditized to AI. And so really what will be valuable is like that creativity of being able to make a prompt that no one else has ever given to the AI to craft artwork or do a particular skill or job or something,
yeah,
which I thought was a cool way to put it.
that's awesome.
What is like a lesson that has been really hard to learn that you wish you learned sooner?
One is to vet your collaborators. It's a big one.
How do you vet your collaborators?
Just kind of like, luckily throughout most of my life, I've worked with really great people, but I think it's important to ask questions about who you're going to be working with. Yeah, that's like a big recent one. What other lesson? I guess to stay true to your vision. In life, in my career, I try not to make too many compromises, because the work keeps getting diluted as you do that. So just try to stay true to my vision, and I'm pretty stubborn when it comes to my art, so it usually stays pretty concentrated. But yeah, I would say those two rules.
Nice. We do have a question we ask everybody. It's
Do
probably a
it.
good time to ask that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have I told you this question ahead of time? I don't think I have. So I don't know if you've gotten to think about this. But when there is a Jen Stark autobiography, what would the title of it be?
Ooh. psychedelic, mathematic, organic goddess. I don't know. I'm calling myself a goddess. Okay.
PMOG.
I think if it's an autobiography, you're allowed to call yourself.
Okay,
a goddess.
good.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, something with math, psychedelia, organic. I don't know. We're gonna have to ask GPT.
Nature.
Yes.
Throw nature in there.
Yes.
But no, we so basically what I'll do some point in a few months is I take that answer and then I go into Midjourney, or maybe in another few months I'll be using another tool.
Whatever the latest and
Okay.
greatest
Yeah,
tool
maybe
is.
I'll be
Oh wait,
using
so I'll really come up with one.
So
Okay.
then I try to make art for the episode based off of our conversation and that answer.
Okay, so I'll really answer that. Should I use my name or no?
Whatever you want.
Okay.
It's your autobiography.
Yeah. Or just ghostwriting it.
Just ghost prompting the art. for
Yeah.
it.
The mathematical world of psychedelia.
That'll be a good. When you put.
I
So
don't
I've
Your
done
face
some,
doesn't seem convinced.
I've done
No.
some prompting around
hard.
like, sacred geometry
Yeah.
and rainbows and stuff, and like that the outputs are crazy. A lot of triangles,
Yeah.
pyramid shaped things.
That whole fractal world is wild.
It just starts going crazy. And then once you put rainbow trippy, it's
Yes. Rainbow drippy math. That's it.
I feel like the first one you said was good.
Okay, perfect.
What was it again? I don't
Pmog.
remember. It was something goddess.
psychedelic, mathematic, organic.
It's going to be like a dripping math goddess.
I
Okay.
think that sounds badass.
Deal.
That
Yeah.
I like that.
Cool.
Math means it like what? Like it has to have like glasses and
So in my head, it's
wizard
like
hat?
it's like a school teacher who. So like I guess I had this one teacher in high school who was just like a total pothead. Like was clearly like in the 60s was just like going to Woodstock and all that. She named one of her kids Tahiti Starship, which is like a badass name for a
Cool.
kid. But like she was an English teacher, not a math teacher. But in my head, it's like someone like that, like an old school teacher who's like also kind of like the woman from the Magic School Bus,
Yep.
and then like in a weird, like trippy psychedelic way. That's what I'm
stressful.
getting out of it.
Let's see what he comes up with.
I'm excited to get on that. Are there any like mediums that you haven't created a bunch with that you want to create more with? Like I know we were talking about some of the glass work you've done, and I love how that looks in the glass. But are there any other mediums that you're thinking about dabbling with?
Yeah. I would love to keep doing more public sculpture.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess this is more of an idea and not a medium, but I would like to create artwork that's out in the world that is powered by like renewable energy, either like a sculpture that has solar or wind involved, a sculpture that people could put in their gardens that like powers their house, or a school or a park. That's like one of my lifelong visions, to do that sort of thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I'm imagining a Jen Stark windmill,
Yeah.
and
Oh, there we go.
it's just spinning, and
This big ass fan,
it's like the big ass fan.
Yeah.
but it's trippy. It's trippy.
And I have a
ass.
big ass
Thought
fan.
about painting that?
You totally should.
I should. I mean, people would look at it a lot more. Yeah. We got a big ass fan in my studio.
I feel like you could get something really cool too. Like, I don't know what would look best, but like when it was going, it like kind of made the image, as opposed to like when it's still, you can't really see it, but once
Ooh,
it's moving, you
like
can
a
kind of
rainbow?
Like kid fans that have like lights.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm imagining.
Or just like
Yes.
those things where when it spins, you can see an image, but when it's not spinning, you can't see anything.
Yes.
I feel like that would really work well for you, and you could do something really cool with that.
All right. Well, there you go.
All right, next time we're here, I expect to look up and see some crazy fan action.
Deal.
All right.
I'm just imagining like the shroom room ceiling, but pasted across the whole studio.
Yeah.
That'd be maybe a little much, but it would also be crazy.
Yeah. It's funny, in my like personal life, I like to keep things very like white and clean with plants, and then like a pop of color. But yeah, I don't know if I would ever do my own shroom room, in my house.
That's funny that's how like I am as well. But it's funny, like with your art style and everything, you would expect it to be a little bit more like color everywhere,
all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you get it out in the art. Like you don't need it.
Well, I think it also makes the art like pop so much too. Like you walk in and it's the white walls and kind of this more like, I don't know, like structured building, and then you have this art on the wall that's like really jumps out at you.
Yep.
What's your favorite art book on the shelf? You look like you got a lot of really interesting.
Well, I haven't recently, but I was collecting pop-up books. So I love pop-up books. It's kind of like paper sculpture. And I guess when you were asking me about what did I want to become, I knew I wanted to be an artist, but secondary things were like pop-up bookmaker or lighting. I really liked lighting and making lamps.
Did you make a lot of those like dioramas as a kid?
Yeah, I think
in the shoe boxes.
Yes.
That shit would stress me out when the
Really?
teacher gave me one of those assignments. It's like, fuck, everyone's gonna know I'm an idiot again. It's like everybody's gonna know I'm not artistic.
Oh,
Like you just look at my
Yeah, any art project for school stressed me out so much.
Oh my god, the posters, all of it was just like, fuck, mom. Like,
Well, it's funny though.
tomorrow we have to do something, and I didn't tell you about it till tonight, and I need help.
Yeah. I was like, because my mom is like really artistically talented. Like for someone who's not an artist, but like just as a like she can draw pretty well and all of that. And so I'd always be like, Mom, please, like I can't do this. I need you to help me. But I did really like. I remember I had like a dinosaur book, and so like being the like nerdy kid I was, I really liked like the follow the rules and this is how you draw a triceratops. And like I got really nut like I could draw a good triceratops if I followed the rules from the book. But once you take away the like guidelines from the book, I was useless.
Say, draw 2 circles. Now finish the triceratops.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, it was like the same with music for me too. Like I took piano lessons for a long time, but like I had no idea how music worked, and so I could read sheet music, and so that meant that I could play the piano. But like you took the sheet music away and said play a song, and there's no way I could unless I had memorized what it was. I didn't have like an ear to be like, oh, this sounds good or whatever.
Yeah.
So I've just never had like understood that side of things.
What are your favorite musicians to listen to when you're creating?
Ooh. Actually, this week I just discovered this old school. I think he does like slide guitar. Pete Drake, and he's, I think, I would guess from the 50s or 60s.
Oh wow!
But the music's really cool and kind of weird and awesome. I mean, I love Miguel. Miguel's awesome. He's also in the NFT space. I'm friends with him, but I've loved his music for a long time. Kalela. Yeah, usually kind of like cool, chill vibes, jazz, lots of different stuff. I'm eclectic.
Nice.
I will say I probably do have to go to Korean barbecue pretty soon.
We do have a hard stop for your Korean barbecue.
Nice.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
I'm going to Quarters. I have no idea if it's any good or not, but
Oh, I've never been.
I don't know.
Cool.
Our LA friend who picked a place, so I trust him.
Nice.
But I have a feeling it's probably Sean coming to tell me that there's an Uber here for us. So that's perfect timing.
All right.
All right. So yeah, thank you for doing this. It was really nice getting to know you. I feel so lucky that with all these people who Deez knows, I get to like, instead of meeting you at a party for like 5 minutes where it's really loud, I get this like really unfair opportunity to sit down with someone for like 2 hours and like really get to know you.
Nice.
But yeah, it was really great. I had a great time talking.
Me
Thank you
too.
for doing
This is
Yeah.
awesome, and thank you for bringing us to the studio.
Of course.
It's our first ever, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
anytime. Thank you for having me.
Sweet.